So if you're a progressive metal fan and you haven't gone back and really dug into Fates Warning's catalog and really given them a good listen, perhaps you should be locked up. I think this is a band that is so critically underrated, and that's why you probably should be locked up, because it is criminal. Yep, you heard it. Anyway, they are one of the founders of the whole progressive metal genre. There are elements from other bands who helped bring it in, obviously. The big three are commonly known as, I'm going to put Queensryche number one because they were first. So I have to put them number one. Fates Warning, and then Dream Theater. This is my ranking of their records. I'm going to start all the way at the end. I don't have this wrote down, so I don't have a number. I can't list them like that, I guess, number-wise, because I'd have to count, and that's, that's fast. I'd have to count fast, and I'm not very intelligent. So I'm just going to say my least favorite of theirs is their very first, Night at Night at Rockin'. Very rough. This is demo quality stuff. It's the production is poor. The songs aren't all there. There are some cool ideas and things to it, but the songs are not all there. This has John Arch on vocals, and his voice he's got a hell of a voice, and he's got a hell of a range, but a lot of this you're trying to, you can tell they're young, and he's trying to find his notes, like where do I go from here? And the whole record's kind of all over the place. Very, very Iron Maiden inspired, no doubt, but that would be my least favorite. I spent a long time on my least favorite, so I'm going to have to speed this up. This is going to be a little controversial at first, because right away the next is going to be Spectre Within, their second record they made. Similar thing, they definitely got better. They definitely showed growth within the writing process, and everything sounds better, and it's all tightened up a bit. But still, the songs are not quite there, and it's kind of stuff that I don't enjoy personally as much, and that's why it's ranked so low, as is. And here is where the complaints will come in for many fans. Awaken the Guardian. That is my next one. And we're talking third from the bottom. Awaken the Guardian. A lot of people put it as one of their classics. I think it is a step above Spectre Within, and it's 5 steps above their first. It still suffers from some of those same things I talked about, in my opinion. And we're still in the fantasy genre, and that fantasy witches and dragons kind of deal never really stuck with me. I can enjoy some of it, but too much of it, and I get turned off, and that is probably my issue with that. Now, so you may think I'm just going completely in order. Not quite, because my next least favorite one would be Inside Out. It's got good material. There's some good songs on this record. Just nothing really stands out to me. Still to this day, nothing grabs me and makes me need to keep listening. That one fell a little flat for me, but still some really good things on this record. And from here on out, I think I love, I think I love every other record. So it got tougher from here for me. Next up, I'm going to go with, and this one's going to be a little controversial again, because a lot of people love this record. And here is the record that I first listen to Fate's Warning, and then I went back from there, but it is No Exit. No Exit had some great songs. I fell in love with that record when I was younger because it reminded me very much of Queensryche, and I was a huge Queensryche fan, and the voice was very similar, and it had this thing, and I really, really, really enjoyed it, and it is still a killer record to this day. But I like stuff they did more than that, obviously, because that's why it is where it is. From there, I'm going to go with Disconnected. While many people see Disconnected as really close to Pleasant Shade of Grey, I don't see that at all. I see the elements being similar and there being a similar style, but I think, my own personal opinion, A Pleasant Shade of Grey is far superior to this. Although this is a great record. There are some great songs and I love the record. So I don't want to make it sound like I don't like this record. I like it and enjoy it and love it even. But that's where I place it. From here, I am going to go with Darkness in a Different Light, I think. That's hard because that record has some killer crushing guitar riffs in it and is really quite heavy. It's got some great song Lighthouse. I love that song. There are many songs on this record that I absolutely love, and I thought it was an incredibly strong record. Being that far into the game, great. Love that record, but I'm going to put it there. And I'm going to put Parallels next up. Parallels is one of these that it seems like if you're a general listener, you place it way high. If you're a longtime fan of the band, you place it low. It seems to be kind of popular opinion among the diehards that this is actually weaker. And part of me thinks that some of that kind of pushing that record away is because that may be one of the most successful records. And I think they even had a little bit of flirtation with MTV and stuff with a few songs on that record. I get that there might be a little bit more commerciality to that record, but I don't really agree that it's less complicated. I don't think it really is. I think there may be a more commercial spin to it, and the production is pristine and it all sounds lovely, but there's still just loads of texture here and many complicated arrangements within this record, and I think there are a ton of very strong songs on this, and that's why it is where it is. Now, being that this isn't written down and I don't have a sheet with all the numbers, I'm worried I'm going to miss something, so I'm looking through here. Next up is FWX, Fates Warning 10. So good. In my opinion, it had a really nice mix of a kind of a streamlined, heavy, really rock sound, great guitar work, nice meaty sections, but they still kept a lot of the electronic sounds coming into the mix, and they did a really good job of balancing those, I felt, on this record. Really strong songs on this record altogether. For me, this is a very strong record. It sounds excellent to this day, and the thing about this band is how consistent they have been able to be for so many years, and this goes to show it. So my third favorite Fates Warning record of all time is Perfect Symmetry. Very good. Why is it not number one like it is on so many people's lists, or at least number two like it is on so many people's lists? Musically, from a musical standpoint, it is the most complicated thing they've done. It's kind of breaks your neck at points. So many time changes. This is technically the most progressive record they've done, I think, in my opinion. And it is just a great listen. Very strong songs and stuff. For me, though, musically, the music aspect of it is what saves it. I think the songs on here are not as strong as some of the records I have had underneath it. I'm just talking from a song standpoint. I don't think they hold up as well and are as strong. But because it is musically so good and so progressive, I have to put it as high as it is. Very strong record, great record. Brings me to number two. Number two is Theories of Flight. This is their most recent, although very soon it will not be. This one was from 2016, and so many good songs. I love this record. I thought about putting it at number one, but just couldn't. But just a killer record. Start to finish. White Flag I could listen to all day, every day. So many songs on here are like that. I love this record. So much depth, so much emotion, so much great guitar playing in this. Phenomenal drum work. Ray's voice is at the top of his game. The bass. This band is just great. Joe on bass is killer. He's a phenomenal bassist, one of the most underrated bassists of all time, in my opinion, too. Because all of Fate's Warning material has killer bass work, but the whole band is on fire on this record. So good. Which brings number one is Pleasant Shade of Grey. A progressive metal, progressive rock masterpiece. It's a masterpiece. In the genre, it is a masterpiece and should be seen as one of the seminal albums of the genre. So good, so inventive, so creative, so many little elements in there, so many good songs, even though it is, it's one long, huge song and they're just broken down into parts. So good. So good. Such a journey from start to finish. I love that record. It's got to be within my top 5 progressive albums of all time, personally. Killer. And that rounds out my list. I hope I didn't leave anything out or forget anything. I'm looking over it. I don't think I did. But there you have it. That is my list. And I am so looking forward to their new record coming out. I think it's November 6th. Because, like I said before, they're so consistent. And their last 2 records are way high up on my list, with Theories of Flight being number 2. So where could this next record fall? If they keep on the same trajectory they're on, it could be my favorite of all time. You never know. And there you have it. Fate's Warning, my rankings of their album. If you don't know them, before you're arrested, before you do time, check them out. All right? Thank you very much. See ya.